All right, we are official. It is the 12th of October, and we are the Quantum Burst, and here we go. Everybody's here. Welcome home, Linda. Are you home?
Yes, I'm home.
You came home. Welcome back, Kate. We missed you last week, but we were zinging up your whole
Thank you.
family situation, and Marlene is here, and Stephen and Marlene was here with an M today. All right, let's line up. Bringing all of our awareness right here into this circle, becoming very consciously aware of this now moment and of this group and of this work that we do. All is well, it is done as we quantum shift ourselves and our world into miraculous outcomes. Part of that is willing to see the miraculous in the ordinary. Part of that is willing to see it different than you saw it a moment ago. Part of that is willing to be that becomingness that you are, to be the person who is already quantum shifted. Part of that is leaning in and leaning back and sinking and rising into the truth of who we be together. So we take a moment right now to connect with each other. Steve, Nancy, Marlene, Linda, Kate, Eliza. Feel the power of the collective. And in that power of the collective, we are opened into the quantum, into the spaciousness, into that place beyond our knowing. And it's here that we begin. So notice what's already happening. Notice what's moving. And we call forth the most brilliant outpicturing of that tonight. And so it is. And so we let it be. Oh. All right. We've been chit-chatting a bit, so let's just do a check-in. Let's check in. If there's something going on that we need to know, feel free to share it. Otherwise, let's just check in really with our intention. Like, what do you really want to move this evening? What do you want to expand into right now? Right now. I just got off a client call with a client, and he's like, he fell into this place of being the empowered leader. And it was like, it was right there. And when he landed in it, you could feel him getting taller and grounded and solid, and it's like, boom. And so I want that for all of us tonight, whether we're empowered leaders or something else. It can be anything. It doesn't have to be big and out there, but just because everything is possible in the quantum. So what could you receive? Who could you be in the quantum tonight? We'll use that as our check-in.
I'm fine with empowered leader. That sounds like fun.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
But I was thinking, but lighter and brighter was what was coming through for me. It's been one of those days for no reason at all. My brow just feels like it sticks out to about here, heavy brow, and nothing that I can point to and say, there's why. That's what happened. Just there, So lighter, brighter.
So some kind of solar flare quickly approaching the Earth, supposed to land on us today at some kind of G6 something. I don't know what that means, except Big cosmic stuff happening.
Okay, I'll take that.
Yes, and
now-
then we can just like release the brow, right?
Swim through it. Yeah.
Cool. How about Linda?
Well, I'm trying to find words to describe. I'm confident and sure of myself, and I guess I'm having trouble because I haven't been feeling this way all day, but I do have this experience of myself being present and being loving and being patient, being willing to be the parts of me I don't like, as well as the parts of me that I long for and like. And so wholeness, maybe that's more this, the acceptance of myself, greater level of acceptance and joy and enthusiasm with my life, and abundance. A lot. I've been dealing with the lacks this last couple of days, so just the abundance, knowing how it flows, and I do know how it flows, and it's here when I need it. So I'm claiming it now.
Good, good. So we just like any limits, any appearance, right, of resistance of any kind, and just open that, because abundance is brilliant, and having it when you need it is brilliant, and an overflow of effortless abundance is even more fun.
Even better.
Cool.
Yeah, the release of all of this resistance that's in my way of knowing all of these truths that I know and have experienced before. So I just would like to, whatever that part of me that stops me, I would like to let go of that as much as possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, very good. We'll give the one that stops you a instead of the slow stop sign, traffic sign, you know, the guy standing on the road, we're going to give you a quicker and easier.
Yeah, yeah.
We're going to give her a new job.
Okay.
Cool. All right, Kate, your mic's on, so you get
I
to.
think I'm just going to piggyback on Steve's because I've had the brow thing today too. So I'm going to join on the lighter and brighter side.
That'll work. Very good. Marlene. Oh, Steve, did you have something else? Nancy, we'll go ahead with you and then we'll get Marlene on. Oh, now you are there. I'm stepping over myself in my flow here. Marlene, go.
Hi, everybody. So many things have been going on this week that I actually felt I had a fever. So before I came to you, I took my temperature and it's 97.6. I don't have a fever, but there are about 10 self-care things I do for myself that I haven't been doing. And it made me stop. And what I wrote down as opening up to is be the miracle.
Mm.
And I'm having 7 nieces, nephews come this week who've never been to New Mexico, have never seen my house, starting on the 14th and to the 16th. So I wrote, well, I have Be the Miracle. I know I love them. Love, listening, tenderness. I wrote that because I tend to be just too out there sometimes, too much energy, too much, so much excitement. And so those are the words that came to me: be the miracle, loving aunt, listen, tenderness.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And health and wholeness all the way through the week and however long they're staying, the week and the weekend.
And I have a gratitude that Eliza helped me with a friend of mine, be with me with the Healy, and got to meet my son. And that was such a blessing, such a blessing. I just, thank you.
Yeah, it was fun. All right, Nancy.
Well, I won't add it because the first thing I heard was completion and beginnings, new beginnings. That's what I heard. We're still in a little bit of a process of completions here, a little bit more work to be done, but fixes. So it's not major. I'm going to intrude on your life, but it's been funny to me how I've had to be the one to reach out to these people to finish when they have a boatload of money that's due. It just cracks me up because I don't remember ever, if I had that much money waiting on the other end of the line, that I would be so nonchalant about it. So I guess I should admire their fortunes, that they cannot be too concerned. but in the same breath, I felt new beginnings, and I shared with Eliza, we're doing a lot of when you redo a house, it hinges on it's just right at the edge of it. Oh, it's beautiful, and at the same time, oh, it doesn't feel like us. Does that make sense? Yeah. So we're unpacking things, and it's a point of looking at things and going, does it fit? What I started going, does that fit the house? And I went, that's not the question. Does it fit who I am now? Does this fit who we are now? Does it fit? Because we're almost getting to reestablish our I don't want to say decor, because it's way beyond decor. You know what I'm talking about? It's the feel and the energy, and we've always wanted a certain aspect to our house to be welcoming. And when you enter the front door, other stuff gets left on the other side. Well, when you've had so many people in and hammering and knocking, the energy get a little frayed. So now it's about, well, what's that new coming in? What's that new beginning? And new beginning to me is the energies we've been working with. How did they come to nest? So I really about completions and new beginnings. And I didn't know nesting was a word until right this minute. I've had this incredible urge to reconnect with our whole family, and I did a wild ass thing of signed up for a vacation rental at Christmas time in Colorado, and at 15 minutes before I pulled the trigger, I sent email text out and said, here's what we're thinking of doing. Can you be there? So it doesn't hinge on them being there or not, but everybody was like, well, Holly's there. But everybody's like, oh God, yes. Like, oh, let's do an adventure. Let's do something, because we never all get together and do that. So it's really about the new beginnings that is really reverberating. Completion is like a little quiet thing, and new beginnings is coming in. So that's it.
Very cool. Very cool. And for me, I think the intention is to be the embodiments of my ever evolving self. I felt a little discombobulated today. It's cooler. I mean, it's cold. It's like 77 and I'm in my sweatshirt and rainy, and I got my fuzzy socks on and been in my blanket all day. But it's just kind of dark and stormy kind of, and I don't feel stormy inside, but I feel a little bit like percolating. Something's like close. So bringing all of that in, let's go right into some frequencies and see what really is coming alive for us as we speak these intentions. And they're kind of all over, right? From lighter and brighter to that presence, to that abundance, to that new beginnings, all of it. It kind of, you could do a whole sentence of all of them as we're moving together, in the gratitude, certainly, and the things coming up. So yeah, so what are we gonna do? All Healys today? We haven't done all Healy in a while. Yeah. So feeling into that, feeling into the possibility that everything we just spoke already is. And all we have to do is pivot our compass like a degree or two. Like we're so right there. So we pivot that degree or two and become that, and allow the frequencies to, first we scan them to be determined. And then we simply open to receive the frequencies that we most need right now to come into coherence and resonance and alignment with these intentions. 2 minutes. And 49 seconds. Just breathe it. I think I keep feeling like leaning in, but I also feel like just sinking beneath the noise. So maybe it's a sinking to the point of stillness and then expanding. And we'll receive those starting now. And that's complete. Just feel what's happening. And who wants to share what's happening? What did you experience? Yeah, Marlene.
I first I thought nothing was happening, and I needed to quiet my mind because things were going. But I came up with 3 images. One was a window, and I saw a broken window because I just had windows put in my house, and they are not what I expected them to be. And so I just was with that, what windows. And then I went to our group and I got this image of a diamond because I want to take you all with me during this week. This is a big week with me and my relatives. And I thought, what image do they each of us together represent? And I got a diamond. So that was kind of glass-like. And the third image I got was a prism. Just, so and throughout was like a mantra: be the miracle. I am a miracle. Be the miracle. I am a miracle. And so thank you all. I will be taking you with me this week. You are a diamond to me, a diamond together. Thank you. Thank you for being together.
Very cool. I can feel that mantra, be the miracle, I am the miracle. I think it's got some movement to it.
The other thing I want to say about the mantra, I love, Steve, when you put that in the chat every week, and our world into miraculous outcomes. And somehow that word miraculous came to me. So thank you for reminding us each week in the chat about that. Really wonderful.
Thank you.
I was kind of like Marlene in this. At first, I was a lot of noise, no words, but noise, mind noise, just noise, and a little disconcerting. And I was thinking back into the feel of what we were talking about, and I thought, what? I always love how a little judgment will come up. Well, maybe today is just going to be not one of those days. It's okay. And then, I let go of that. And it was like, I'm not going to push for anything here. Let's go back to our completions and our beginnings. And there were so few words that to use words to talk about it feels weird in this one. But what I felt was, this is hysterical. I saw coming out of a field, and there was it was like a chute, but it wasn't a chute where animals were going to go be taken anywhere, but it was a narrowing of the attention. And I haven't been a farm girl in 45 years, whatever, 50 years, but I saw the back end of cows going forward, and then there were sheep, and next thing were chickens. And I hate to say this, as a farm kid, the chicken was my least favorite animal. Okay, and there's a whole bunch of chickens, and they were kind of being guided to go, and I was laughing, the way saying chickens can be guided. That's interesting. But everybody was going down to the chute. But what it opened out onto, because I was again kind of holding new beginnings, was the most verdant field. And it's rainy and overcast here today, so it was verdant and sunny, and it reminded me a little bit of aspects of the farm that I was raised on, where creeks going through it. And the one part I loved about being a farm girl was the absolute freedom I felt to come and go. I could be gone for hours and nobody thought to come hunt you down or look for you. And I'd take my books and go to the creek. But I had that feeling of coming back into that space of that intense connection to the earth, as well as the sky was just incredibly bright. It was not only sunshiny bright, not that, but bright. It's different. The colors were brighter and more intense. And coming through it and going, oh, isn't that funny? Your new beginnings look like a lot of where you've already been. And what I heard was, but you don't see it that way now. You don't experience it that way now. And then it ended. So it was almost like, oh, so if we go back, I can't wait to go back.
Awesome. And feel the new, and especially the bright, the bright, when you describe the bright, the colors are different kind of almost, aren't they?
Mhm. I love that sharing. I can really relate to a lot of that. I always call myself a country girl at heart. I've never even lived on a farm, but I just love that. That's a sense of expansion, you know. So anyway, mine started out with this. I felt like these globs of, well, furry, raggedy. Actually, I ended up realizing I spent the last couple hours on my on that insurance report that I have to do about the dog digging up the mattress. So it was like all these things about this shredded mattress foam and stuff coming off of me, and once I realized that's what it was just letting go of that, and it came at my clearing the brow and above, and just felt that opening up and just relaxing inside. And near the end, I was experiencing, how do I say that? It's like the spaciousness between my cells, you know, just the body just relaxing to where light could move through and be in and around me. You know, so it's very lovely.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, mine was a lot of, in the early stages, of just going deep down and into a space of peace and relaxation. And once I got there, or there was, I saw a bunch of wall full of tile. Not unusual. I would have house remodeling kind of images. But anyway, this is, I don't know if you remember, well, you may not have ever seen it, but back in the mid-century modern era, kitchens often had these green glass tiles. They were square. They were probably 3 inches or whatever. And they were like a kind of a hospitalish green or whatever. You know, just very it wasn't so bright as to shake you out and say, I'm green, you know. But as I watched the tiles, they were like in a big grid-like pattern. Each one of them developed a symbol. And I had no idea what they were until I came back and were listening to others speak. But it's like the symbols represent different outcomes. And all I need to do is find the tile that I like for the day, focus on that tile, and that's my road to my outcome.
Very cool. Yeah. Like when you said that, I was like picturing the runes or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Cool.
Because none of the symbols were, you know, it wasn't like you were seeing a dog and an airplane, or it was
Right.
like abstracts.
Cool. Okay.
I started off with the same busyness that several people described. And it wasn't like anything clear, not like I was thinking about something or had something on. I was just busy. And then I had a really physical experience today. I got really, really hot. Like I thought I had to take the headphones off because I felt like my ears were burning. I was just so hot. And I thought, well, that's weird. But I mean, I just stayed with it. And then just when I thought I was going to get like too hot, whatever that means, it just kind of faded away and went to pleasantly cool and very, very relaxed.
Hmm.
And that's where I stayed, and I could use that today. So that was a good thing.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Mine started out a little bit noisy too, but very quickly I dropped into an experience almost like an undulating, and then when Marlene said that mantra, I'm like, oh yeah, I can feel that. But like this very, how do I want to describe it? It was definitely movement, so it wasn't stillness, but it came from a real place of stillness. And it was gentle and yet powerful. It was powerfully expansive. And I don't really know quite yet what that undulate was. I thought I did, but then I already forgot. So, but it was just leaning that in, like really what I want to do next is really combine power up together. But so leaning that into some of the things that were shared, it is that becomingness and the spaciousness and that relax and that all of those places that we get the space in your cells that Linda said. I love that. It's like, oh, and the miracle and the quiet and moving through the physical and moving through whatever, right? Like, oh, yes, that's the quantum. That's not even like we used to think that was the end point. Like we want to get to that point of stillness, or we want to get to that point of relax or quiet or whatever that is, that's the end point. That's where we wanted to get. But the truth is that's the beginning. That's like the very beginning part. It doesn't matter how long it takes us to get there, but that's the beginning part, because that's the doorway. Every time we're completely quiet is the doorway into the quantum. And the quantum, I love the image of Steve. Now I have this image of all these, not runes, but all these tiles, rune type, and like, oh, which one do we want? Oh, let's take that one today. And then it's like we go there, but it's more that it comes to, it's more that, oh, there it is. Like instead of a striving for, it's like, oh no, I choose that. I choose abundance. I choose wholeness. I choose miracle. I choose spaciousness. Oh yeah, okay. And then we can be there until we forget. But as soon as we forget, we can remember. So like, you can't do it wrong. So what we did was the watch digital nutritions, the digital nutrition mixtures, the meridians, beauty, and chakras, which is just sort of interesting. But I think we should just do them again. And one or two. Two.
Excuse me, Eliza, could you explain that? Like when we did this, are those the 5 things that came up, or what does this mean?
Yeah, those are the five programs that came up.
Can you repeat it? Chakras, beauty, digital, no.
Yeah, it looks like DigiNuts.
DigiNuts? Oh, DigiNuts, meridian?
Meridians, two, couldn't see
Two.
or two. And the Healy Watch DN, which is digital nutrition, which is a little bit different.
Oh,
The digital nutrition. So some of those, the meridians, the beauty, and the chakras are all available in the pink dot. The watch and the digital nutrition are available as additional subscription programs. But in the blue dot, which is what we're doing, we can get all those vibrations like we do. Make sense? And she's gone. All right, we're gonna do the same ones. And really feel as we start these, like look at each other and feel into what everybody shared. And so we're gonna like take all 6 of us and put it in the cauldron. And then we're gonna run the cauldron for our 2 minutes. I took my sweatshirt off. Linda's got her blanket coming on. Lots of movement, energy-wise. All right, so we're gonna just line up with each other. We're gonna run it for 2 minutes and 49 seconds. So feel into what everybody shared. You can even open your eyes and look at everybody before you close your eyes. And feel that power coming into a cauldron and allowing those vibrations to move us. We're open to receive starting now. And that is complete. Mm. How was that?
Well, I can go. Go ahead. I continued on with my symbols, and this time it was combined with something that from about a decade ago, but even before that, a TV show that some of you may remember, Stargate,
Oh.
where they used these symbols. They had 7 symbols around the wheel, and as each one would lock in, it would set a destination to a new space in the universe somewhere. And so I had a white stone ceremony that utilized that. One of the names that came through for me one year was Possibility Gate. And so the same kind of thing where you would step into the gate, and in this case, whatever you held in mind was a possibility you walked out to as you stepped out of the gate. And there was never any 2 destinations that were the same. They were all unique and you know, had different meanings and all that. So what I was doing today was taking those green tiles from the space, the wall, and locking them in, and about to step into the possibility gate.
I love it. It's that when you describe that possibility gate, it makes me think of Nancy's chute. Yeah. So did you have a sense of the possibility that you're stepping into?
Not really, no. Just that I did. I stepped into it.
Yeah, cool.
We'll see where I wind up.
Right? Awesome. Marlene.
Thank you. I didn't want to judge where I was going because I don't like when I think when we do these things. I just want to float. But I am continuing with this theme of glass windows are diamond, the prism. I love Steve's green glass. I don't know if you're talking about depression glass, but I really love, I don't know if anyone knows what depression glass is, the pinks and the greens. And then the last thing I've had, I think this came from Arkansas or somewhere south. It's a crystal. I put it here. And oh, I wish I could put this in your hands. I don't know if y'all can see it. It's a crystal that my husband had just on the shelf, and it looks like a fossil tree with crystals on it. And so I'm just really into my glass. So this broken glass image turned into a lot of things, and I'm really into stained glass. And the other image that came through to me is Nancy's I'm a country girl, and I love some things in the country, like laying in the grass, but I'm really I'm not going to define myself, but I feel like an astronomer. I feel like I've always been a child astronomer. So that image came up. I love the country girl thing, and I feel identified with astronomy. So again, I don't want to judge it. That's just what came up.
I, even before we started it, I don't know what triggered it, but I think Kate was speaking and maybe she was sharing about the body, I don't know, heat, cool, what was going on. And all of a sudden, I just felt got sucked in before it even started, sucked into feeling like there was just light shooting through me, which is hysterical with my, I'm very earthy, I'm very grounded. So these are kind of little offshoot journeys whenever they happen. But it was, and I realized when Marlene was talking, it was like, oh my God, it was every facet of me was reflecting like you guys and what we're doing, and it was shooting out. And I didn't even connect with the diamond concept. You've been talking about it. It didn't settle anywhere until all of a sudden I realized right there, that's what it felt like. And I'd had a young man here today, he's helping me, he's an organizer, and he had said, and mind you, it's overcast, it's a little rainy, and he goes, your house is so light and bright. Well, here we're wanting to be light and bright, and the light is shooting through. But then I went to back to the field because, and you got to keep in mind, I spent so many years detaching myself from my country girl roots. There was nothing about it when I moved to Chicago that I even wanted. I wanted to leave it in my rear view mirror. I was going to the city. So it's hysterical that I brought back to this and seeing it. But I came back and it was already past the shoot, but in that space and feeling the immenseness of it, because it wasn't just the ground, it was the immenseness, the sky that we're talking about. And I kind of turned to look to see if I could see Steve's symbols. And it kind of maybe, I don't know if I made it up or if I did, but I thought, oh, but those aren't mine. Those aren't mine. Those aren't mine. And what I heard as I was continuing this, I don't even know how to describe walking through this because I didn't feel the ground, but I was like a part of all of it. You know that it was like it walking through itself, if that makes any sense. And what I heard was, quit. It was like it laughing. Quit trying to shed all the things that are integral to who you are. You don't do that anymore. Remember, you don't do that part. But what I thought was when I was looking at the symbols and kind of seeking them for a heartbeat was, what if I have no grand mission where I have to be known? What if that isn't what I'm about this time? And then it was like, well, what do you feel like you are? And all of a sudden I started seeing these conduits running through the scheme of everything, colorful conduits. And I saw this junction box and I looked at it and went, that's me. That's my part. I'm created to hold it together so everything can go out from there. But somebody has to tend like for lack of the junction box, the connector. And I had connector come up in a white stone ceremony, and I didn't even remember that till Steve spoke it. And I used to think before, oh, you just have to have connections with people, blah, blah, blah. But this was about being the connector and the junction box for a roadmap of energies. And what all I heard was, and what if they never knew your name? Would you be just as invaluable? And it was, yes, 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 yes. It was very, yeah.
That's huge.
Just
I see your junction box of roadmap, like all these like quantum pathways, like think Jetsons, you know, and all the pathways. And you'd be holding that connector box, junction box. That's awesome. Cool. I saw Kate's hand just raised there, but it was on Nancy's screen.
I'll go. I had just kind of an interesting experience of a bunch of us. I started out kind of at this place where Nancy's trees and limbs and sitting quietly was, and then that turned into this big like nest like on top of a mountain that had a lot of like air in it, which reminded me of all the space Linda talked about. And then it turned into this big pool full of water that was all the whole bottom of the pool and all the sides were filled with Steve's little green squares. And I was like, okay. And then I was just kind of floating in the pool. And all I had to do was like look at one square and go, that'll be you. And then the square would like come and I'd be floating in the water of the square or whatever that stuff was. And it was so easy. Like it was like I could just lay there and say, yeah, I think I'll have that one. And it was just there it was. And it was just delightfully fun, just delightfully light and fun and free and surprising. Surprising.
Very cool. Yeah, talk about weaving us all together there in that that experience. That's awesome. Linda.
So this is interesting because for a little bit there, I couldn't even remember what it was that I was experiencing because I got so into what Nancy was, that experience was just so beautiful. And also really I connected with all those connections. And then just as Kay was talking, I remembered it was like, oh yeah, there was like this, I remember all of us moving around. It was like twirling around and I felt like we were a big pot of soup and there was lots of different ingredients and it was just being stirred together, mixed, blended, you know. And then there was a thing about the colors, and the color was, it was a yellow, but I didn't, it was more muted than yellow, and I couldn't really, and then when I opened up my eyes, I realized that it was like this cloth that I just put on me, but that's the color that we ended up moving into. And then the last part that there was more, but I don't remember that part. But as I was sitting, listening to everyone, what I really noticed is how the whole inside of my heart and whole chest area, and it's just feels like it's expanded and opened and empty inside, you know, just a vast part of that vastness that is everything. So anyway, it's very cool, very cool. I love being part of all of this.
Wow, a powerful day. Mine was, I felt like we were in the cauldron, which was the word I used earlier, but like the witch's brew. So something you said, like the soup.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the becomingness and the interrelated, the interwoven interrelatedness of us. And then Kate, when you were talking about like the pool, I don't know if you said pool, but like where we were all in, that caused me to remember that this morning in my group, what I was experiencing was like, somebody said like a plasma, kind of a plasma that we're basking in. And I said, oh, but it's placenta. We're in the placenta of becomingness, enfolded in that watery, choosing our tiles of miraculous and light and bright. And so that kind of all tied that back together too, which was really cool. Wow. I thought tonight might be powerful.
That gave me chills, what you just said. I gotta tell you that.
Yeah. 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 So we'll wrap up here in a couple of moments, but closing comments, what else do you want to add to the mix? Marlene, you put your mic on.
Yeah, I did, because I found myself rocking here and then going into a circle, like dervish dancing. But I realized, I don't know if this is what it is, but working with kids, part of their swinging on a swing and rocking is it helps their vestibular sense of balance. And as adults, we should be balanced, but it was just fun to think about. I found myself rocking, as you said, undulating and all these things. And as adults, we don't do that as much. And so that would felt good. And I want, when Nancy was talking, I just want to share one more thing. I don't know if y'all could see this. It's a rock, and I'll ask my husband more about it. But my father-in-law worked with translucent technology, some communications over the whatever. Anyways, this is a woven copper thing, and Nancy, and it has to do like with the communications. It was a goodbye present to him at Bell Labs, but these are turquoise on the end, and it was just, I don't know, your image. I'm going to keep this out too, and thinking about the vibration of sound and energy. So thank you for sharing. I feel like when one person shares, it kind of popcorns into something bigger.
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Go ahead, Nancy.
Well, and I just want to say this, honestly, after being in a few sessions of this, I can't even explain how different I am experiencing this one. How, and I enjoyed everyone before, but maybe just we're all ready or something, because this is because I hear what each one of you is saying, and I can oftentimes go, oh, I felt that, or I feel that. And it's not like, oh, I wish I could feel that. There's probably some of the sessions when it was like, oh, that'd be nice to feel. This is just intense. I don't know. This is really, me, the one right before a session, goes, oh, maybe I'll take a break. This is in a different intensive, a gentle, but more intense that I'm experiencing.
Yeah, very cool.
It's in the soup.
Yeah. we're either in it or we've become it. Yeah. All right. Anything else from anybody? Yeah.
Marlene, I related to the image that Linda had about the womb, or the whole openness. There was something about that.
Yeah.
And the cauldron that you talked about, Eliza, just that whole, I don't know, it just seems we're on the same boat here. In the same Stargate. So.
Yeah. Same spaceship somewhere. Yeah. All righty, y'all. Have a great week.
You too.
Stay in touch.
You
Some
do.
weeks feel like so long. I miss you. Other times it feels like they're a day. So, all right. Good night.
Bye bye.